Hey friends, welcome to Guilt, a limited series podcast that you can only find right here on the CWF network, where we bring you big content in small pieces. I'm your new host, Ebony, and I'm really excited, honored, humbled, all those awesome adjectives to be here with y'all. We're going to get together about once a month, walk through one or two letters that we get. Usually the letters are going to be about terrible, horrible things somebody's done to a person that they claim to love, looking for a little advice and guidance to resolve and move on from the situation. Now look, I want to set the stage by saying I am not a judgmental person. We are not here to judge and condemn, but I do believe in being honest. I do believe in being real. And sometimes you got to say, look, buddy, that was fucked up. What you did was foul. I can't help you if we can't start at a base level of honesty, right? So it's not about judgment. We have all done things that we feel guilty about, right? On some level. We've all done things that if we had an opportunity to do it again, we might do it differently. I'll put it like that. So welcome back to the CWF network. Welcome to Guilt. And let's not waste any more time. Let's get into it with our first letter. This one comes to us from somebody who is self-identifying as dumb bitch. Ooh, that ought to be a little primer that we must be in for something. I'm going to call her DB for the purposes of keeping it moving. But let's see what DB has written into us about wants to say. First and foremost, I don't want anyone judging me or calling me a trifling bitch, because I know that. I do, however, want to get this off my chest. The next step will be to tell the person who I committed this transgression against. In hindsight, I should have handled the situation much differently. I'd been friends with, let's call her Benita, for years, since undergrad. We had a great relationship for the most part, very supportive of each other within our respective fields. She's a successful lawyer, and I'm a successful business owner. We were always there to be a shoulder when the other was going through heartache as well. We had a great friendship. A few years ago, Benita decided to try online dating. She signed up for Match, Christian Mingle, and Soul Swipe. I wasn't judgmental, even though I thought only crazy folks dated online. I watched Snapped, okay? Anywho, she had evidently met a guy and kept him a secret for months. I guess she didn't want to jinx the relationship, which was understandable. So she wanted this new guy she was smitten with to meet me so I could feel him out, the next step. I felt him out all right. 2 words. Very fine. Like the juice. I couldn't hide my attraction to this man. He was attracted to me as well. There was chemistry, there were sparks, fire, and a whole lot of desire. So when Benita went to the ladies' room, we'll call him Mike, and I exchanged numbers. So it began. Now I know you're going to say that I ain't shit, but there was a danger in our clandestine affair. Mike and Benita were a couple. They were an it couple, actually, while I was his little secret. The dick was good, and I was always busy, so I wasn't pressed for time. We were good. We had a good situation going on. So around January of last year, Mike proposed to Benita. As the dutiful best friend, I was there to help her plan for the pending nuptials, and amid the excitement, I felt a tinge of jealousy. My jealousy became disdain, and my disdain developed into rage. Why would he choose her over me? How could he choose her over me? He told me his deepest secrets. He told me what she wouldn't do for him. I treated him well. I made him feel like the man he was. And he chose that bitch. I was a river of emotions. In March, I stopped taking my birth control. Fuck Benita. Fuck her. The universe had made this happen. The universe and God had placed Mike in my life, and I wasn't going to lose him to Benita. I was ecstatic when I learned I was pregnant, and I kept it a secret for months, just as Benita had kept Mike a secret. Funny, huh? I decided that the opportune time to let everyone know was after I told Mike. I had it all planned out for the big reveal. Dinner, candlelight, roses, all the TV shit. Mike came over and everything was perfect. Absolutely perfect. Until I told him that I was pregnant. He lost it completely. I'd never seen this side of him. He told me to get rid of it. That MFer. I was sobbing on the floor of my apartment. holding onto his leg and probably looking pitiful like that girl who was always crying and set it off. I decided to keep my baby and do it myself. Who needed his ass? Well, it's a year later and my daughter is 4 months old, beautiful and healthy. I know I told myself that I couldn't do it alone, but I can't. I know I told myself that I could do it alone, but I can't. It's hard. I severed ties with Benita and her husband. Yeah, her husband. But I need to figure out my next move. How do I come out of the blue after almost a year of not speaking to them? What will she say? What will I do? What do I do? Signed, Dumb Bitch. Okay, so that was just like 3.5 minutes of nonsense, right, y'all? DB has given us a lot to process, and we literally could spend 2 weeks in our armchairs, our driver's seats, and on our couches analyzing this chick. But we're going to do the best we can in about a fraction of that time, right? So, DB, you specifically ask, what will she say? What will I say? What do I do? I mean, I feel like before I can even address that, I have to point out that you have not accepted any responsibility for the really, really foul things that you have done in this situation. And the reason that's relevant and germane to your question and you figuring out what to do is that until you accept that you caused this situation through really, really bad, terrible behavior that was intentionally done to cause harm to somebody you called your very good friend, you can't really move on, because it's a sign that something within you is not well, and it's a sign of some trauma and some suffering that you need to deal with, and you need to deal with that because you are in fact raising a child, specifically a daughter with someone, and I just don't see how you do that without creating another generation of super auto thoughtmus primes, without a healthier mindset. Like, you're just going to repeat this cycle. So you started off by trying to say you didn't want to be judged or anyone to call you out of your name because you know that. But the way in which you described your attack on Benita is really cold-blooded, and you should feel bad for that. I hope you feel bad for that, and I hope that you have an interest in digging into why you did what you did, because it was not good. And Mike is trash too. But this, Mike didn't write us, so I'm not going to even go in on Mike, but Mike is trash. And the person here who has been wronged is Benita. You seem to have felt away because Benita didn't tell you about Mike when they first dated, even though you said you understood she didn't want to jinx it, but then you kept the baby a secret. Ha ha, fuck Benita. Well, maybe she kept the relationship a secret like a lot of us do. Not even a secret, but you just use some discretion and you take some time to really assess if this relationship is real or not. And sometimes having an audience to that can complicate a situation, right? Which, case in point, the minute she told you, look what you did. You slipped Mike the digits. So she was right to follow her instincts and not tell you. I wish that Benita would write in too so we can help her figure out why she attracts such terrible friends and such terrible husbands, but that's neither here nor there. Back to your letter and what you should do. So I gather, based on how you kind of wrote this, I gather that Benita does not know about the baby. So Mike hasn't told her, you haven't told her, and she's just living in what she thinks is newlywed bliss. So I feel like you're at a crossroads if that's the situation. You could choose to finally extend some kindness and some grace to Benita and consider her fucking feelings and make her aware of this situation in as thoughtful and gentle way as possible. That means, under no circumstances, do you text her directly? Do you send her a DM? Do you get on IG and slide in her DMs or inbox her on Facebook? Leave her alone. You need to just have Mike informed through your family law attorney that you wish to have a discussion about parentage of your kid. And Mike is then going to have to explain to Benita about the summons, but you need to let them deal with that within their household. You've done enough to upend this lady's life because she's about to go through hell, because it's going to be awful to find out that like your husband is not only is a liar and a cheater, but now there's like a side baby by somebody she thought was her friend who she didn't really understand why you disappeared. So she probably has a lot of questions. Now, if Benita and Mike do know that the baby exists and they have just ignored you and ignored the baby for a year or for the 4 months, then you got to know that Mike's life is probably pretty miserable. Benita is furious, and it's not a healthy situation, and it's not a situation that lends itself still to you reaching out directly. Once again, you need to go through a family law attorney and say that you want to have a mutual conversation about parentage of this baby and what you guys are going to do as a group. And that's it. That's the grown woman thing to do. That's the thing that you need to try to aspire to do. I resolve this like a grown woman, because what I read in this entire letter, friend, and I do want to stop because I know that this has been like a lot, right? I've sort of softly, maybe not so softly, but kind of gone at you. But a lot of it's the truth. And I've seen a whole bunch of little girl behavior up and down this letter. You thought Mike was fine, so you were kind of jealous. You didn't think Benita could get such a guy that was that fine. Is that what it was? You didn't expect him to be a looker, so then you pushed up on him. That was a little girl move, especially because you said Benita was down for you. You all were mutually supportive in business and in your social life, shoulder to cry on. But then you've essentially caused a lot of harm and pain to your friend. So I say that to say, get a family law attorney to resolve this issue with, informing Mike and Benita about the child and that you need support. Physically, you need someone to help care for the child because you can't do it all by yourself as a single working mom. And then eventually you guys can talk about child support. But you shouldn't be reaching out. Let your attorney do that. The only time you should be talking to these people is in mediation, because what you did was foul. Do not, I want to say before I wrap up, do not pull a Love and Hip Hop and roll up on Benita. Don't be like that girl Jasmine who was stalking Rashida at the store, at her job, on trips and vacations because she wanted to apologize. I hope you do really want to apologize to Benita. I think you should write it down. I think you should write her a letter. And then I think you should give that letter to your attorney and ask that it be delivered to her. And in that letter, you let her know that you are seeking help to help you figure out why you chose to do such terrible things. And if she wants to have a conversation, you know that it won't be an easy one, and you don't have any expectation of her in that conversation, but you would make yourself available for it. But you let your attorney deliver that. You need to leave her alone, because I want you to outgrow the spirit of petty and vengeance. And the best way to do that is going to be to abstain from contact. And I think that if you can do this, if you can leave her alone, there is help for you. There is help for you in raising a little girl that is healthy, strong, beautiful. I'm assuming a woman of color. You can do a lot for this little girl if you begin to fix yourself, right? So, that's all I got. That is really all I have for you this week. This letter reminds me a lot of the lessons I've learned over the course of my life about picking the right friends and knowing how much you reveal about yourself and your life to people. You have to be careful who you trust. Trust with your story, trust with your life, because everybody is not ready to be a great friend. So with that, I just want to say, let's all be kinder, greater to each other. And if we do mess up, acknowledge it and try to make it right and respect people's process, respect people's right to be mad and to need to grieve and to get over it. And so don't be overbearing. I want to hear what you all thought of this situation. You can always comment below. Follow us, follow the CWF Network on Instagram. We are at CWFP_. Again, on Insta, that's CWFP_. And while you're over there, you can follow me in two places. You can follow me at Your Uncle's Fave. That's at Your Uncle's Fave with no E on the end. And the Culture Shop online. And before I get out of here, I just want to mention one thing. The next time you try to judge someone, remember, we are all guilty of something. And I'll talk to y'all in about a month. Bye, y'all.
This is the CWF Network, where we bring you big content in small pieces. Follow us on Instagram at CWFP_. Okay, bye.